Now that's the right music. And now we have a very special expert caller from the heart of the fires in Florida. Mother Savage, welcome to the Savage Nation. How are you?
Hello.
How are you? Now you're worried out there, huh?
Scared to death.
Why?
Well, they get closer and closer.
How far away are the fires? You're in Florida right now.
Right. I'm in Boca. They're up in around Jupiter. The fire, the smoke.
Can you smell the smoke down where you are?
Well, not really. A little you smell it.
Now, what are the other seniors in your area saying about the fires and all the strange happenings in America now?
The world is coming to an end, we think.
Why?
Fires in Florida, floods in the Midwest, tornado here, and a cyclone there.
So you're afraid that this is a more than just an occasional problem? You think it's
maybe?
You think it's a pattern, huh?
Right.
Oh, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong, right. But when you get my age, you get frightened.
You mean I worked all my life to have a career that took off and the world's going to come to an end? That's fair?
That's what?
You think that's fair, that the world should come to an end just when my career took off?
Oh, no. It just should start.
You know, Mother Savage, I was talking with my audience about fond memories and things that influenced me. And I remember the day you took me and Alan to Radio City Music Hall. Do you remember here how radio is done behind the scenes?
Oh, sure.
Do you remember when they rattled the big piece?
The NBC tour.
The NBC tour.
Right.
And they show you with the horse's hooves to make it sound like a horse on a.
Right.
And then they rattled a piece of metal to make it sound like thunder.
Right.
And then where did you take us to eat? Do you remember where you would take Alan and I to eat?
Oh, we went to the Automat.
No. Well, the Automat was one place. How about when you took us to the Floridian?
Oh, my God. That's right.
Remember they whipped
Floridian, the Californian.
Now, you see, you're in Florida and I'm in California. There was something there. But they whipped the eggs up. What I liked about it is you made eggs. I mean, I don't want to put you down, but they were just eggs. They were flat like everyone else's eggs. But when you went into this place, they had a way to make the egg go up like in a pyramid.
They put something in the eggs to make it puffy.
Yeah, I would have been a foot taller if I didn't eat those eggs, probably what they put in there.
They were delicious. You can't get that kind of food again.
No. Ma, let me ask you this. What was the name of the Italian chain in New York that was Romeo's 50-cent spaghetti that we'd go to, 50 cents a plate? What was it? Was it Romeo's?
I remember now Romeo's.
Remember, it was pretty inexpensive, and it was a chain, and we would go in every once in a while, and it was always...
A plate.
But was it Romeo's spaghetti? I think...
It may have been that.
What did you eat in there?
Spaghetti. I still love it.
How do you... You're 83, right?
Right.
But you're not on a low-fat diet. You never have been.
I'm not what?
You're not on a low-fat diet. I mean, you still...
I should be.
You should be. But the truth is you and I, once I got my PhD in nutrition, I'd come to your house and you'd always cook the same fatty foods, and I would say, how could you do that? And you always ate it, but God bless you. What else do you like on a Saturday? What do you eat when you go out?
French fried potatoes.
You're 83 years old. You eat French fried potatoes, and what else do you have with it? What other light bite?
Frankfurters. Sauerkraut.
Oh, I love you. But let me ask you, truthfully, you don't smoke or drink, right?
No.
In your life, did you smoke?
No.
I saw once you did when you were 30. You took a cigarette.
Just to show off. Just to show off.
But, so in other words, you think that it's...
Inhale.
So in other words, what you didn't inhale like Bill Clinton. Is that what you just said? You didn't inhale. What, were you and Bill Clinton?
No, I didn't inhale.
You didn't inhale, and the president said that. Look what it did for him.
No, I never had any vices.
You never had any vices. But, Mom, what do you think...
All I did was eat food.
So you can eat anything, but what do you think is the secret to longevity?
What's the secret?
Yeah. Because you're an elder. You're 83.
Yeah, in my case, what it is, I think.
What?
No sex.
No sex. Well, that in San Francisco is a sin, what you just said, because these people believe that the more sex you have is better.
Well...
Especially the gays, Ma, out here. You know, they go to...
83, though.
Huh?
They're not 83.
No, you can't argue with that. What do you think about guys going to a bathhouse with 100 men a week? They lay down with them. Do you think that's okay?
No, that's not in my circle.
So you think...
Not at all.
So in other words, if I have no sex for the rest of my life, I could eat French fries and hot dogs and I'll be okay?
I hope so.
It's not a bad trade-off, I'll tell you the truth. With the problems that sex brings in a person's life, I think I'd rather have French fries and frankfurters, to be frank with you. You know, I wish you could be out here, Ma, because tomorrow is a very special day.
Yes.
Your grandson is going to be in a parade in a 1965 Cadillac convertible. He's going to ride in it because he's running for office. And then I'm having a barbecue for about 70 people at the house, and you'd be the honored guest.
Give them all my love for my good wishes.
What is your secret? I'm going to barbecue chicken. Do you ever do that?
Oh, sure I do.
What's your trick? Barbecue now. I'm talking on a hot grill, a gas grill.
What do I put on?
Yeah, what do you use for a grease?
Barbecue sauce.
What do you use?
The original one, the barbecue original flavor.
What? The A1? The A1?
No.
The Worcestershire?
Barbecue flavor that I use.
Oh, you mean you use that? All right. So the secret to longevity is no sex. That's the main thing that we got.
That's what I think in my case. I don't know in everybody else's.
I think that you ought to start a self-help group. You could be bigger than Dr. Laura. I think you could go on national radio and just say, I'll tell you the truth. Just eat, enjoy, but don't have sex, and you live to a ripe old age.
I can't talk for everybody else. I got to speak for myself.
Oh, you're a very nice woman. Well, I'm going to sign off now.
Okay.
And God bless you. I'll call you from the party tomorrow, and you'll say hello.
Have a good time.
Thank you, Mom.
Don't eat too many hot dogs and hamburgers.
No, no.
Not good for you.
Well, if I don't eat them, then I'll have to have more sex. Good night.
Good night.
Love you.
Bye.
Savage. What is the Savage Nation? He's not angry. He's just smart.
John Barnett, attorney for Edward Stokes, a man who was admitted to molesting 212 boys, was let out of prison on a legal technique. Now, when I say to you that our courts have been penetrated by red diaper dope and baby lawyers, you don't have to believe me. A man who was admitted to molesting 212 boys, we dress him up as Santa Claus and we take him to an elementary school in the Upper West Side of Manhattan for Christmas and see what the liberal mothers have to say about that. See, if they really are liberals, they'd let their son sit on his lap. If they aren't, they would hit him with an umbrella. That's the real test.
Savage.
The radical left is the most conformist element of American society, trying to force us to conform to their sick, demented, degenerate worldview, trying to force the government to force us to adhere to their viewpoint. That's conformity. That's fascism. It's coming from the left. We on the other side believe in liberty. They don't believe in liberty. Understand that they are the fascists of today.
This is the Savage Nation. The Savage Nation with Michael Savage.
An Army reservist is given 8 years in the slammer for abusing inmates at Abu Ghraib. Big deal. He humiliated the worst of the worst vermin. That's like the worst of Pelican Bay. And they're trying to break them for information. He stripped them down naked and put a panties on their head. The scandal that broke worldwide. You can thank Tom Brokaw and the vermin in the liberal media for making it bigger than it was. It's not a big story. It's a much bigger story to talk about the people having their head cut off. That's a bigger story.
Savage.
Look, I've told you that it's the women who are going to save the country. The men are finished. They're a big sack of hot air. They watch wrestling. They watch sports, pornography. It's enough to make you puke. No wonder Al-Qaeda is circling us. The women have to protect us. The women have more guts than most of the American men. You men are pathetic for what you've let happen to this country. And if Kerry is the best of you Democrats, and if Bush is the best of you Republicans, then you confirm what I am saying.
This is the Savage Nation.
Come on.
What is the Savage Nation? Borders, language, culture.
I would like you to ask yourself the next time you're on a dark street and you're approached by a dangerous group of people and you've got to make a phone call. Would you call 911 or would you dial the ACLU? When you answer that question, you'll know which side of the thin blue line you should be standing on. Do you want the streets ruled by the animals with the 40 caliber guns? Then shut your big liberal pie hole. Because otherwise you wind up like in Iraq where you can't go down the street, you stupid mad dog.
Savage.
This thing called the media and politics is really not the most elevated place to dwell in. The low level of the media in general is enough to sink the strongest of us. People in our own country have more hatred for this country and for the president than they do for the enemies who would cut their throats. How could they turn George Bush and America into the enemy? Because they have lost their connection to reality.
This is the Savage Nation.